It's an open discussion. The title of the session is open discussion. So let's try to discuss about issues with the network. Where are we? Of course, we come from 2016 in Oslo and then 2019, it was 2020 in Perugia, initial meetings, but LandAware officially started only 2 years ago. So the first 2 years come to a close with this final in-presence workshop, and we have to move forward. How do we move forward? Let's understand where we are so that we can understand what is the best way to proceed forward. As you read in the program, I didn't prepare any slides so that we can discuss without me presenting. We wrote future milestones, way forward, organizational issues, and feedback from the participants. I would start with the feedback from the participants. So from you or from the people online. And in particular, I was taking notes and I said to myself, let's explore briefly the past 2 years, the present, this workshop, therefore we can move to the future. In the past, I have a specific question for you. I could have asked, but I'm not going to ask you, what did you like best of the activities that we've been carrying out in the past 2 years? So I'm not asking this question, I'm asking the complementary question. What has not, in your opinion, what has not been working as wished in the past couple of years? So because the session before was critical issues, challenges, problems, I'm also posing this question in the same way. Any comment about things that were not as wished, not as perfect as we wished in relation to us as a network, not in relation to the teams, but working the operational things. Any comment also from the EC members if they want to break the ice, or from anybody, please. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Isadora. I'm from Brazil, but I'm going to stay for 10 months with Michele in Salerno, Pisciano. I am new in this network, but I have already participated at a meeting, working group number 7, a regional meeting in Brazil. And we discussed it a lot. I really like it, but I don't know how can we get out of the discussion and go into the stakeholders and turn the discussions into policies and practical actions. I don't know.
Any comment? I could say that that's a very ambitious goal, ongoing goal, and we should strive for connecting with others as well. Please, Graziella.
Graziella Devolenve. Okay, the first comment is to Isabella. I think the regional meeting helps because at least in Brazil we have someone from the operational part. Maybe they are not the real stakeholder, but at least we manage to have those external people, which is important. And in both the meeting in Latin America, I'd say they were both there in the different country. In terms of the other comment, my personal experience, I think we are so many people registered, and I think we are few that are working, let's say. So this is, I think, was my main challenge to get the people. I understand that many of us do this in the free time, like he was saying, during the night or even early in the morning. But it could be nice maybe if young people or other people that are more interested don't hesitate just to, even a simple help could be very useful.
Please, Lisa.
Yeah, thanks, Graziella, for that comment. And it's a reflection of mine as well, just maybe from the PhD student perspective of, I think there are many of us who would love to help and have probably more time and have motivation and energy. And can feel a bit shy about sending Dahlia Kirschbaum an email to be like, sure, I'd love to help you with your paper. Like, it can feel a bit shy. And so, yeah, well, thanks. But I think sometimes really having, if you know PhD students and can reach out to them specifically and really take them by the hand and say, would you help us with this? This could help. So I think there is a bit of a shyness barrier to maybe accessing some of those helpful resources.
Thank you. That's a very, please, Aditya. Very specific comment, so we won't be shy in reaching out then.
Yeah, I mean, just continue what exactly. So it's the same thing. I would like to continue what Luna was saying. We are actually very enthusiastic to be able to work with experts from LandAware, and it would be nice if we can, what I see from work groups like the data group, we are coming up with some interesting reviews on the existing data sets. Uh, what I see is the professors and people like Dahlia are also squeezed for time. And if like PhD students, as PhD students, we are more into writing, organizing. So if you're given that kind of roles where we can contribute more and need not be, always in meeting with the experts who are squeezed for times, uh, we could contribute a lot more. That's one thing. Second thing, if we have to collect data sets, those are also on our array. So those are things that we can. And people like Michele, I mean, who are busy in professors, they can look at the progress in a couple of months and say, okay, this is the direction we're going. Okay, you could do this. That kind of delineation of tasks could maybe like convert the work groups, like what Michelle initially told us, into workforce action forces. Like we do things. We have some approximate deadlines, and we produce data sets and results from each of the work groups. So I think each work group, if we could produce something like this in a year or a couple of years, I think more and more scientists would be interested in joining LandAware. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aditya. And Joe from the online participation. Your turn, Joanna.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's really great to hear that I think PhD students are sort of willing, able, and keen to get involved. I think the point that was raised about, that sort of shyness about coming forward is completely understandable. One of the things that might help with that is utilizing some tasking software, which would enable us to put forward ideas into a sort of database, and then people could look through those tasks and see if they have time, interest to be involved. The other thing that might be useful is to have a list of PhD projects and people who are willing to participate. And because at the moment, I wouldn't necessarily know who to reach out to specifically regarding a task or something. So it might be useful for us to pull together that kind of information so that we can then, reach out to those individuals should there be interesting activities that we want to pursue.
Thank you, Joe. I didn't understand what kind of the software you were mentioning, but is it a scheduling software you're mentioning? Sorry, I missed that point.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different types of software you can use to sort of put down tasks in a shared space.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Next here, Roberto Greco.
Thank you. I'm Roberto Greco from University of Campania, Italy. I just want to make a remark that maybe could work, I don't know. I was one of the least active guys of the network during the last 2 years. Just as an excuse, possibly the COVID, the pandemics did not help, because this kind of online webinars are not always something that people like. I don't like personally. But my point is, I noticed that many people are a little bit disappointed about the fact that the research part of the group, which is, I think, the majority, does not communicate very well with the stakeholders. Maybe having so many working groups does not help in this respect. Possibly, for instance, I'm very much in favor of merging the innovation group with the IoT and sensors and modeling. But maybe when you have this such big number of working groups, you really don't know if your contribution is appropriate somewhere or somewhere else. And maybe this, I mean, forces people, especially the stakeholders, to be more involved in some apparently more practical groups rather than in the research ones, while possibly a stronger connection would be easier. And also what Graziella was saying, that in each working group, normally there is only one guy who is working, maybe merging will at least have two guys working for each working group, which is already something. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this comment. Any other really, we welcome today in this discussion negative comments to improve or more than general things could be done better. If you have some other, for instance, communication, not, and then Luca, I just say something and then the mic to there. Communication, not communication with stakeholders, communication among us. Are you receiving enough communication? We send, but they take the mic.
Stefano Gariano, CNR. Just a technical question. Has anyone never received our newsletter? No. Never, because we are facing. Okay, because we are facing several problems when we send a newsletter. We noted that, like as an example, 80% receive the newsletter and only 30% open the mail, and only 15% click on some links that we send. So at least all of you ever.
At least once, all of you?
Yeah.
No, because if it's in the spam once, you take it off from the spam, and the next time it will not be in the spam. No. Every time.
Okay.
Okay. It's a problem. It's a problem. Okay, so basically not as many as we thought. No, no, not
Or
like many hands up.
The other ones are not here.
Okay, Luca. The other one are not here because they didn't even know about the LandAware workshop because they never received the newsletter. That's also a possibility.
Yeah, okay, just a general comment. I don't know if this is working. Yes. Yeah, I was yesterday questioning myself about stakeholders. So if we were not so able to involve stakeholders in these, so after so many months, then maybe we should take that as a fact, and then we should try to go forward and rearrange a little bit. This is what I was questioning and thinking yesterday. So maybe we can discuss about that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, taking this as a fact, I don't know if anybody has different comments, is indeed, the reality is we are who we are. We are here 50 plus 7 plus 5, whatever, but we should strive for getting more interested people on board. Then I don't know, the specific actions, I don't know what to say now, but if this is a problem, we mark it as a problem, and we think about how to solve this problem in the near and far future. Graziella?
Now, my suggestion about the involving stakeholder, I think that the way what we did with this regional meeting, because they are meeting in original language, and we go directly to the people, and so we ask to the member, okay, who you know that can be part of this meeting, and so they are more free to probably because our smaller group. I think at least it works. Because you can contact them directly, and I think it could be a possibility to start, but of course we cannot.
What do you
expect
think of
to-
the idea? I'm saying it now, and didn't talk with anybody in the EC, in the executive committee about it. But what do you think about the idea of subgroups that are regional or national, in the sense that, for instance, in Italy we speak Italian, we do some Italian subgroup. Is that something that makes any sense or not to the people that are here? I'm not saying to the Italians for the Italians, but like if there is enough capacity. You mentioned the regional workshops, but you already organized 2 specific ones. So there was Spanish language, therefore Spanish or Portuguese.
Portuguese and
You did
English
Spanish,
for
Portuguese.
India.
Okay.
So-
English for India, it's easier in some sense, but you specifically devoted to that region. So that's also something that if there is enough a number of people, let's say not a big number of people, but a number of people that are interested, they could constitute a task force and do some activity at the local level. Please, take the mic.
I mean, I would make the comment about the structure of LandAware right now. So it's organized in terms of working groups, and these can be general things where we investigate a topic, but not necessarily task focused. So I think that you need to maybe think about the actual structure and coming up with task force that have specific missions if you're worried about things not getting done or accomplished.
Thank you very much for that. Please.
Yeah, just kind of an idea based on what was just talked about trying to attract more stakeholders, and I guess related to the idea of more regional meetings. But I'm wondering if it'd be possible to kind of pick specific conferences that we think stakeholders will be well represented at, and target those to hold subgroup meetings or make sure we're presenting, that sort of thing. It might be a good way to at least make people aware of the group.
Okay, in that case, your comment is related to let's go somewhere to say that LandAware exists, and then let's tell to the stakeholders that we exist.
Yeah, or invite stakeholders to meetings during conferences where we know they're going to be. So an efficiency thing or an outreach thing. Yeah.
Thank you. So indeed, we are moving between what we did do in the past and we did do properly or not properly to what we can do in the future. So actually now, I put an extra question for you is what products, initiatives you would like to see the LandAware community engaged in the next 2 years? So if there are, I would say, as a minimum, I'm thinking, as a minimum, besides the activities supposedly better organized of the working groups, but as a minimum, I would like to see another conference like this one in 2 years, something like that. I don't know. What kind of initiatives, activities you would like to see happening in the next 2 years? Tom.
So one thing I saw is that we have an e-learning work package or work group as well. And to me, it's not always that clear what is for the PhD students on science level and what's for the stakeholders. It's written that it's also for stakeholders. So one of the minimum requirements that we could put for ourselves is that we would have a certain amount of videos for professionals that they could basically, every professional who wants can just take 1 or 2 online videos, maybe 1 or 2 easy papers to read that if he or she wants to know about snow melt modeling for their specific country, or the basic of the difference between threshold-based early warning and physically based. I can imagine that we can invent a small number of professional trainings instead of, I know what to give for the PhD students, but maybe for the professional ones, that's something we could list and start.
Thank you very much.
And then you also have the stakeholders.
Absolutely. Not very much concrete in your proposal. Thanks. Please, Dylan.
The question maybe about resources and funding. Is there any interest from people to try to find funding? I think one of the things that may be an issue of getting stakeholders here is lack of resources. So figuring out ways that we can help to get people to the meetings by looking for funding, for sponsors, et cetera. But this to me seems like something that a task force could look into and identify potential ways to make LandAware sustainable, let's say, in some kind of financial form.
That's another. I don't want to comment one by one, of course, but it's open for discussion, whatever you guys are saying. Yes, please, Aditya.
Yeah, so actually this is something slightly academic by nature. Maybe in next 2 years we could come up with a magazine or a journal. LandAware could come up with a magazine or a journal because there's a lot of expertise on board. We don't have to, we could find out some copy editors, and because then we can disseminate knowledge in a faster way. E-magazine or e-journal. And it would be easy for everybody to hop on. Maybe magazines can go to stakeholders, magazine can go to academics. You can invite, guest topics. But it's a lot of work. I know. It's just a future work. And I was also thinking, the LandAware website currently, it's got groups and news and news feed. But if you can make it more like Lewis in contributed by work group 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 point. The second point, regional Lewis. These are our contacts. Okay, this is how we work, and this is kind of data. That's
I didn't get because I didn't get to make it like what were you?
So currently the LandAware network, the website. It's more oriented on information dissemination. You have a lot of blogs.
Okay. Yeah.
You have blogs, news.
You propose what?
My proposal is if you can make it into regional Lewis. So you have
regional Lewis. So like you propose to say, let's have a section for.
No, you can just put a world map. And you can say these are the places where LandAware networks are located, and these are the Lewis that LandAware network is connected to, and these are the most portals of each specific scientist or organization. Stakeholders can also come on the map. So then you go to that specific. You can see what are the kind of work that is done by that group, or what are the work groups that are involved in that specific regional Lewis. So this is something I was thinking about. Then if you go into subgroups, then you can also expand like a tree. Show these are the people working on this particular area, and if you're interested, and this is what stakeholders will be interested, this is what academics will be interested. So that way we have a fully focused website that can give you a complete overview of what LandAware is doing. Of course, this could be also a future work, but we can go towards that.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment? No, I'm waiting because I don't want to say my opinion on all these comments one by one. We will discuss about those in the executive committee, and we should also move forward with new people. Who? Graziella?
No, I think what Dylan say about task. You mentioned also the first day, maybe short. But also probably short with a short deadline. I think it could be maybe more useful. And I see also what Tom said, that we need specific, because I got also email, which is, for example, the literature about rainfall threshold. And that could be useful to have exactly one page with all reference. So we don't need but maybe if we define better our task, which product we need to finish for the next 2 years, it could be nice, or my wish at least.
Manfred.
I wanted to also make a comment about the finances that were addressed by you. And I think that's a strength of LandAware, that we don't have finances, that we are really participating because of interest in the first place here. And it's so non-complicated in that sense. We don't have this sensitive issue of finances. But of course, I also like the idea that we would like to support, when possible, single person also who have not the means to come to such a meeting here. And actually, I can tell you that for this meeting here, we found the way to support a person here to come, and by somebody, it was more a personal initiative to support, and I think that's the best way we could work here. That we do not have a big organization to discuss financial issues, but rather help each other wherever that is possible. Also, maybe by supporting somebody financially, maybe more on a private basis. So that's the way I would like to see it also in the future, because if we set up goals with regard to finances, then it's always becoming a little bit difficult also to reach these goals. So I'm quite happy with
Dylan again for a reply.
No, I completely agree with you. I think we're excluding members and our colleagues who might be able to contribute quite a lot, but they're not able to come financially. So I agree with you that it's not a big interest to have some kind of big financial framework, but I would ask Manfred, for this person who you were able to help, how did they figure out that they could apply and still get help? So is there something on the LandAware website that says, hey, we would love for you to come to this meeting, please send an email if you can't financially afford this? So I think if we don't at least tell people that that's an option, they're not going to apply and ask for resources. So we should think about that.
Yeah, it's an issue. Definitely, it's an issue. We should talk and think about it, because if you say to somebody, please apply, if you don't have needs, that means that we have the capacity to reply to that need, and we don't. Whereas if something happens all of a sudden, then you can accommodate in whereas you were proposing at the beginning, if we set up a framework for which there are funds, a fellowship, young people participate, it's a different thing. Okay. Okay, any other comment is welcome also on this, but I want to say, given that we've been talking past, future, and I'm collecting all these comments besides the fact that we are registering this, and I want to say that indeed, yes, maybe the organization of the website is what it is now, and we can decide whether we like it or not, but there is already a lot of material out there. It's not structured, but there's a lot of material. For instance, all the recordings of the May Day are there. These recordings will be going there. And anyway, we have to do it. Then I want to say specifically to the people that are here, to the people that are online, contact us. Besides me taking these notes and going back home and putting them in a good way for us to discuss in the EC, in the executive committee. I'm calling for more active participation. Therefore, please write directly as soon as possible to the current VUG chairs, because they are there at the moment. They are there. So write directly. Write to me, to Manfred, to Graziella, to whoever. Write to info@landaware.org with other comments that you may have. Propose new working groups, new task forces, something specific. Tell us, I would like to be engaged in this, and this. Why I'm saying this now? Okay, we are at the end of these first 2 years, and we're moving on to the next 2 years, and there is an important formal commitment that we have a general assembly. This is not a general assembly, this is a workshop. So all the members will be called to participate in a general assembly online. We will do it in December. We're setting up the date, but anyway, you will receive the email with the date of the general assembly. I am assuming by the end of October, I'm sending the email out with the date, and then a few weeks later, after the EC will meet, you will receive the agenda. So before that moment, that is almost coming, December, the more we get in terms of you writing and telling us, the better it is, because then the General Assembly will be the moment where we will formalize activities for the future as well. So that's what I wanted to give you as a message. Contact us, or besides what you already told us, on specific things, and the General Assembly will come prepare for that. Of course, it's a General Assembly that we have to do online. People from South America most likely will connect early in the morning, Europe in the center, Asia in the evening. We won't be discussing for 5 hours, so let's get prepared. The agenda, we set up the agenda also based on the feedback that we get. With that, I guess I specifically said what I had in mind for this meeting in terms of information and feedback from you. Any other comment on the past and the future? Then I move to a final part. Please, Hiro.
Just a quick remarks. I'm thinking to summarize and following up this workshop afterwards, to be responsible for the audience and for coming in to through online. I think we're gonna have some sort of proceedings from this workshop, and each workshop may produce some outcomes in the form of proceedings in the material, and we're gonna buy as an institution from, like myself, we can buy certain amounts of those proceedings and setting certain price for that. And we're gonna generate the certain amount for the administrative purposes like this one, and expertise for the expenses that are incurred for the next time. Thereby we run on an annual basis or biannual basis by selling proceedings each time. There's a very tiny amount of money will be generated. So proceedings, and I think people really wanted to have some summarized version of this workshop. This is really fruitful. People have many productive exchanges, and those opinions, it just evaporates if we do not write it down. So we should write it down, and maybe we should have some slides, printed out in a nice color format, and then we will have some tangible and palpable results from this workshop. And maybe the Manfred's face is on the face, I don't know, but that way we can purchase it, and we're gonna have some money for the next one, at least, as a very tiny amount of money. So I really love the idea of freedom from the financial support from private corporation. In that case, we as a government people cannot join sometimes. So ethical issues. So freedom and the financial freedom is very important for LandAware, I believe. So please keep it as a rule, if I may say, so as a LandAware. And for the next November or December term, this 2 months or 3 months is critical for LandAware to be active, not dormant. There is no free rider here in this room. So people will active, reinvigorated through this workshop because of the nice administrative work of VSL. So I really thank those people. We will be, reignited, reinvigorated, and we will start over again from this October meeting. So I think we'll, have more commitment from the floor, and then we'll see. We'll have more comments through email, and maybe if we publish some proceedings for this workshop, there must be some people who want to buy, right? Not only for yourself, but for your colleague and for coworker.
Here, just to make sure that I understand your proposal, once as
That's a comment.
No. Sorry.
Yes, just proceedings to be made from this workshop. That's my claim.
No, but I want to ask you something because I have to make sure that I did understand exactly. proceedings of the workshop, it's clear. So we should take somehow, charge of. You're saying let's write them, let's put them together. But those should be both freely available for everybody, and then the institutions that want to buy them, they offer us something. Because if we keep them only for a paid version, I don't.
Those who participate in the workshop, that's gonna be free. I mean, password protect, I don't know how to do it, but for those who do not, they can purchase it by paying price.
Okay, I get your proposal. I have, I personally think that we should give as much as possible free, and then if we give too much burden on ourselves, and also we set up certain kind of procedures, it could be, depending on the culture where we are from, that we are successful, or maybe, we hamper ourselves in anyway. It's clear now. It's clear your proposal. That said, if there is, even if we are slightly early on schedule, I would say, the idea of today's open discussion was to collect as much as possible opinions from people that are here. That's who we are. We are a subset of the members. In terms of memberships, I will propose, then it's something that we have to discuss with the EC, with the executive committee, but somehow I will propose to sort of reset the associations to the different working groups. So like the members are members. No, we accepted you, or whoever applied for membership and was accepted are members. So we will have a general assembly, we will decide. I will propose, let's see how it goes, that once we get to the general assembly, we sort of start from zero in becoming associates to the different working groups, so that, because somehow we have these long lists of people. So I propose that the silence means, once we send an email out, do you want to be part of this working group? Is not a good way to move forward. So okay, let's see how it goes. Any other specific comment on?
I was doubting a little bit if I would reply. If we want to, it's a personal opinion, it's also a strong opinion, but if we want to involve as many persons as possible and other stakeholders as possible, then me on a personal level, I'm very in favor of having everything, but then really everything freely available, open access online. The moment I go to a website and I have at some point a password or a paywall, then honestly, I will probably not go back a lot to the same website. So in modern times, please, let's try to focus on everything open available. And if we don't want to share it, then it means sending an email. But the website, it should be, if you click, you have your information. That's how it works nowadays, my opinion.
Okay, I can say that I agree with your opinion, and also, the way we set up the website, it's a matter of, it's difficult to find the best possible way. There is no single way, but also, as I said, there are our discussion. Let's see. I guess you all know, you're aware that we are going to publish our the workshop recordings. That's what we said at the beginning. So they are there. At the same time, workshop recordings, like the single session, they are lengthy sessions, videos. People can go back and look at them. The more we have, the better it is. If we have an executive summary, that's also better. Is on top of the executive summary, we have comments on those. That's good. That's my opinion as well, personal opinion at the moment. Luca.
Yeah, just as a last maybe comment, as what we can do next, what will be next. If we can summarize and write down maybe one task, 2 or 3 tasks maximum that we are gonna do in the next future. This will be very helpful to clarify to everybody here. So what are the tasks for the future? 1, 2 or 3 maximum. So if it is involving more stakeholders, then we state that, and everybody of us will do something to reach this task somehow.
That's also quite clear. At the moment, just my comment again on something that has been said. The structure of the LandAware community by the cooperation agreement that we have in place there it's set up on working groups. Roberto is not here, he left, but he made a comment about the number of working groups. So at the moment, that's what we are saying, working groups, and then the single working groups collectively, they become the network. No, we can question ourselves on a structure that is more maybe flexible. I would personally not change the cooperation agreement right now because it just started, so I would wait for a little bit to change it. But in terms of operationalizing more effective ways of interacting among ourselves, that could be set up. So I welcome all these comments, and then I can say everybody can, after this discussion, if you're interested in this, in these organizational issues, the General Assembly is the place to say again once more what you think and also vote, because at the end of the day we will vote. But we have to get prepared to that, so that at least I take on me the burden of putting all of this together in a coherent way so that at least I have a proposal for the assembly once we get there. Or not only me personally, me first, the executive committee, and then the assembly afterwards. Any other final comment on that? No, so before leaving the, please, I don't want to cut any the conversation short because we have a few minutes, but if there is nothing, please, Stefano, yeah.
Yeah, just for closing this, I would like to. Okay, we opened this section in the blog news from members. It was participated, but I think it could be more participated. So what we can say, share with the network new papers, new journal, newspaper articles, case studies, everything. Just send an email to info@landaware.org. And so I think this will be more make this network more interactive, because I think we can do it, and the network will benefit from this. So every new article you made, every new case study, and also every new, like my let's say my best point, my optimum would be like the blog made by Dave Paitley. He has a lot of news on new landslide occurred everywhere in the world. So we are not focused only on landslide, but on landslide early warning. So I think I strongly invite to participate more in sharing your knowledge, experience, and so on. And this could be useful for increasing also the interactions among us.
Okay, thank you for this comment. Any other? If not, I have a final question for you before leaving the floor to the local organizer, and we'll close this conference. What do you think about this workshop? I'm saying like any comment about what we've been living in the past 2 days. If you want to do them here, please take the mic, tell us something. I liked a lot this, I didn't like a lot this. This could have been done better, not better. Or if you don't want to talk now, send us feedback via email. Because if we understand, what went right and wrong also in this workshop, we can plan future physical meetings in a better way. So any comment now is welcome. Any comment in the future via email is also very welcome. Graziella. Oh, somebody online? No. I don't know. No, this specific question is for everybody, because if I would okay, Katie.
Hi. Whilst I would have preferred to be there in person, I have to say I think it's been okay online. I hope that it worked well, the hybrid session today being online and in person. But I think that the technology, so thank you to WSL, the technology worked really well for having some of us online.
Thank you for that. All right, so maybe, private comments, if you don't want to say anything now, we welcome any comment. Because then, we plan better for the future, and an analogous initiative, let's say in 2 years. With this, my job here is done for this session, and I leave the floor to Manfred for the closure. Thank you very much.
Okay. Just before I come to the closure, feedback from the organizers. How was it to organize this workshop here, actually? And I can tell you it was not too complicated. I think that the program was covered by many involved, so it was easy to bring together an interesting program. I got a lot of technical support here from VSL, and this excursion yesterday was also an easy game in some way to organize. So that was really not complicated, and I can recommend anybody to make the same experience maybe in 2 years or 3 years, because we have to move on to a next place in 2 or 3 years. Of course, the only difficulty that I had was really this knowledge, who will actually show up here and who will cancel last minute, do we have COVID restrictions or whatever. So this uncertainty, this made me organize a lot also last minute when it became clear that really there will be 50 people showing up actually here, and we will also have 20-30 people online. So of course this is a little bit a challenge of our time, this that people also cancel rather last minute. But I would like to thank you that you really showed up here and made this effort worth. Because I think the most important element of these 2 days was actually being present here and meeting each other and all this informational chat. It's really a network event. I told my people here at VSL, this will not be a high-level research conference like we have at EGU. It's more the opportunity to be here and to share, discuss on a very broad interdisciplinary level. That's the change, the added value of this year. So thank you for giving me the chance to organizing this here, and also giving me the chance now to close. I want to give 3 blocks of information. First, what happened with the material. We heard already, we will make a kind of a synthesis of this interactive short interactive exercise that we did this morning. Here, Graziella will have the lead. Then we will have this recorded documents from the workshop. So Monday and today were recorded. We don't put that as one block on the internet because that would be a little bit lengthy probably, and so we will do some cutting also, and maybe after work now here at VSL. So it will take a few days before we can set up. We will let you know where you can download and have a look at this material if you would like to. But give us a few days, so we don't expect that to be ready tomorrow. The same applies to the photos. There were many photos taken here today, on Monday, also of course on the excursion. I will try to make a collection of this photo, best of. If you would like to send me also a few best of photos that should be included in this document, feel free to send that in some way. That will also happen in the next days. So that's what you can get as a tangible product from this workshop, plus the synthesis. And then what happens now? for those people who are here, not online, for those online, we will now say goodbye to you. And thank you for having joined. And sorry for that you did not have the chance to come here. And we are looking very much forward to see you in some format, probably online quite a lot in the future, but also whenever there are opportunities that we meet in person at some point. There are so many opportunities next year. World Landsat Forum, there will be ECU again, there will be, yeah, we have project meetings also. In that sense, I think that's the moment when we close now the online, because the rest of this year will only be the on-site information and so in that sense, thank you very much for joining, and thank you to the technicians here in the room who made it possible that you were part of this here.
Yeah. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That brings me to the last point of my notes. The thank you, because I really also have to mention a few other people who did a lot for this here. In the first place, of course, the VSL provided these rooms, lunch, and the technical facilities to perform such a thing here. I got much support from my research unit, Alexander, Jakob, Armin, Christian is also here from the unit, Tobias. So thanks to this support in any respect, be it yesterday in the excursion, of course, but also on Monday. And here I also have to mention Susan Sen, who is not here today, but today is Martin Morizzi here. Susan, she has a special role here in this house. She is the event organizer, very much in the background, but she has all she's very experienced in setting up such events here, and she knows all the contacts. She's talking with the Hausdienst, with the management house to set up the tables, to do whatever I want. So Suzanne, and of course also Martin, thank you very much for this support. This is very important. Also, we had support from the communication people here. They, in the background, they made some photos. We can make use of these photos as well. And now I'm too early, but I think nevertheless, I close here, and I thank you for all for coming, and welcome back another time at VSL.